You're listening to the Global Inclusion and Practice podcast, sharing the stories of DEI changemakers around the world. Vivian Acquah and Marjolijn Vlug bring you behind-the-scenes stories and kitchen table conversations about the personal perspectives of DEI professionals, representatives, advocates, and allies, talking about what matters in this work and what sustains us in creating lasting change. There are many of us working on creating a more inclusive world. Let's share our stories. We're in this together.
Welcome to the Global Inclusion in Practice podcast. And today I'm in the hot seat. It's Marjolijn Vlug, my co-host for this podcast, and I'm so excited. Marjolijn, we know you as a DEI coach, but I am very curious to ask you 10 questions that I don't know about you yet, and also to introduce you to the listeners. So, who are you in elevator style?
Yeah, because that could be a big question. Hey, Vivian. I am Marjolijn Vlug. It's okay if you don't know how to pronounce that name, but I can teach you. I am a coach, professionally trained. I work with people who really seriously care about diversity, equity, and inclusion, whether as a DEI professional, consultant, representative, an advocate, or an ally. So really across that whole spectrum. And from authenticity and accountability, clarity, confidence to resilience, resourcefulness in this work, I coach people on running this marathon.
That's a very interesting perspective. When you say marathon, can you help people with what you mean with the definition of marathon?
Yeah. Well, it's something that is frequently said about DEI work, that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long-term thing. And that is especially the reason why I believe coaching has a place in this field, because to sustain yourself and to be long-term successful, to be focused, to be authentic and confident and clear and resilient in this work, coaching can be a great tool. And yeah, so I coach you on running the marathon, keeping this up, staying and doing the good work that you do.
I love that. The next question I have for you is, what do people misunderstand about you the most?
Well, one thing that people misunderstand is that they think I'm the original vegetarian in my household. My husband and my daughter are vegetarians, and they always think that I'm the one who put them up to it, but I'm not. And people frequently think that I'm an extrovert who enjoys connecting with people. I do, but I'm also very much an introvert. And that's what people don't know, because they don't see that, because that's when I'm on my own. And I've learned really well to connect and to be kind and to be genuine and interested in people. And that's a learned skill based on my values and what is really important to me. But then I go home and I really need my alone time.
I totally get that. And that is also a skill that I really, really like about you. So for those of you who want to become leaders, right, inclusive leadership, one of the best things that you can do is activate curiosity. And that's what you embrace as well. And
Yeah.
what is your biggest failure and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, it took me a while to think about that question because, of course, there's plenty. Something that I have failed at multiple times is to switch jobs before a work situation became too for me. And I've seen other people do that, and I've always been either too hopeful to see if things change, too loyal, or too stuck or too worried. So I never did that. I'm really good at getting jobs. I haven't been great at assessing whether they were jobs that fit me. And what I learned from it, other than that, is that I'm not a person who works in organizations and fits into those systems, especially in toxic environments, obviously, but that goes for more people. I'm not really good at abiding by unwritten rules that I don't see the point of and doing all the politics. I get honest, or people I see things and they see it in my eyes and they feel nervous and then it just goes haywire. Which now works really well as a coach. And, I'm a solopreneur and I notice things and I say them in a gentle way that
Yeah.
now serve my clients. So I'm really glad that I found that this is really my zone of genius.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Vivian Acquah, the certified DEI consultant, and I would like to invite you to take your organization to the next level of understanding by collaborating with me. I specialize in helping organizations amplify their DEI initiatives and foster an inclusive environment. Reach out today to learn how I can help your organization unleash its hidden potential and create a culture of belonging. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would that be?
Being someone who was kind, inspired other people to be kind too.
I'll remember you that way. What is the best compliment that you have ever gotten?
That I'm a great mom. I don't know if that's true, but that's me. So when people say that and I mean, my mother-in-law, for example, I well up, I tear up every time. Because it means
Yeah.
the world to me.
It's the best compliment that you can receive, right?
Yeah, the biggest.
Yeah.
So important.
What has been your least favorite job to date?
I think I call it my Blue Monday job. I went to work on a Monday and I never went back after that one day. I had one look and I ran.
Yeah.
I didn't even get paid for that day. I called them and said, I'm not coming back. And they said, well, we're not going to pay you for that one day. And I said, okay, bye. It was a housekeeping job at a hotel. And it's really toxic environment in the words that I now know to use for that. It was a much longer commute than I thought. And the temp agency had told me it was a temp job. And mainly the manager, what I saw how she dealt with the team she was super unkind, lots of red flags, and I just ran. No way I'm going back. I just felt my stomach turning at the thought. Yeah. And I've had other not so favorite jobs, but there was always something to learn from that. And this one, what this one taught me was, you can always leave.
Run.
You always have the option to leave, even if that has its downsides. You can always go.
Hey, are you ready to rediscover focus, clarity, and resilience so that you can be a stronger change maker for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging? I am Marjolijn Vlug. I'm a certified coach. And whether you're getting started in DEI or are further along in your journey, I can support you to take your work to the next level. With me as your ally, you can gain clarity on your next initiatives or career goals, make intentional choices, stay accountable to them, deal with the intensity of the work, and create real change. Let's talk. I'd love to learn more about you. Reach out, book a chat.
That's a very valuable lesson. And also, if you would go back, what would you say to your 18-year-old self as a piece of advice?
Yeah, that job was around when I was around 19 or 20. So this is slightly before that.
Yeah.
I would give my 18-year-old self a really big hug. And I would say, hey, you're really kind. You're intuitive. Pick that up, use it, follow your own path, and get better at hugging other people.
Love that. And how is that going now currently?
I've had some great
given
hugs.
also with the pandemic that has been going on.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough, and that's one of my privileges. I'm lucky enough to have a really sweet family. So my husband taught me how to hug.
Yeah.
And then my kids definitely drilled it in. And no, I really love it. So even, now we can hug again. Definitely a hugger. In the Netherlands, we used to do 3 kisses on the cheeks as a saying hi and saying bye to people. I don't do that anymore. Sorry, I hug. I'm a hugger now. With all the kindness and all the warmth and respect, I'm a hugger.
I get that. What is your favorite productivity hack that you would share also for the DEI professionals?
My favorite one that you may have not thought about before, get a coach.
Yeah.
And secondly, and that might also be part of having a coach, is a check-in with yourself, with your mind, your body, your spirit.
Yeah.
To quote one of our upcoming guests, Matthew Reynolds, check in with your mind, your body, and your spirit. All 3.
Yeah.
And then you can take it from there. You have the resourcefulness, and a coach might help you develop that muscle, but it makes all the difference.
Definitely. I know Marjolijn loves to read books. I sometimes think she eats books, but that's a whole different conversation. When we are talking about DEI and she said, "Oh, I've read this, I've read that," or "Have you read this?" or looking for other books to read and to share, right? So I had to ask this question and also share this with our audience. What are 3 books that you would recommend the people that are listening to this podcast, and why?
Yeah, why only 3?
3, Marjolijn, 3.
Okay. Well, there's plenty of books about DEI that are great, that are helpful, that say different things. And one thing that is often overlooked is the value of novels and biographies, autobiographies. So my recommendations are in that corner. And, out of the whole diversity wheel, I thought, well, let's pick 2 themes. Let's pick anti-racism and gender equity. So Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie,
Yeah, definitely.
We Should All Be Feminists. Out
Yeah.
of all her, read all her books. Definitely read all her books. She is amazing. But yeah, if I can pick one for this purpose, We Should All Be Feminists. It's beautiful. Super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bernardine Evaristo. She is a UK Booker Prize winner. She won with the book called Girl, Woman, Other. That's an amazing kaleidoscopic novel about the experiences of girls, women, and category other.
Yeah.
Beautiful book, and very impactful in a way that, you can read news stories, you can read business books, you can read how-to books, but when you read stories, you really immerse yourself in someone's lived experience, whether it's fictional or real. Reading that helps you feel for a little bit what it's like to be them. And I think that really, really gets into your core. It makes you a better DEI professional. Makes you understand other lived experiences better, makes you understand someone else's life is not yours. Let's get curious. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the one that I read recently. It's the book She Said by Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey. They are the 2 journalists with the New York Times that reported on Harvey Weinstein and really puzzled out painstakingly, very patiently, what had been going on. And it's both a very personal book about how that went for them and how they felt about it. You can really feel, they're definitely personal about it. It shows their method, it shows their teamwork, the 2 of them, but also the team that they had around them and how essential that was for the work they did. And it also shows the systems that exist and are shifting, are moving, but are still very much in place. The misogynistic, patriarchal systems around, in that case in Hollywood, but they're everywhere. They show
Unfortunately, they are everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And also what they did to make a dent in those systems, in that
Yeah.
system. So yeah, that's number 3. And then of course there are the books by our guests from the upcoming episodes. So if you want to hear those book tips, then please tune in for the next episodes. We have some great guests lined up that have written books themselves. And anything by Colson Whitehead. I cheated. I added more. That's
By
an
who?
Colson Whitehead is an American novelist who has mastered. He's really a craftsman, and he's really
Yeah.
mastered different styles, different genres. Race is always a factor.
Yeah.
Some are more about that, some are less. But just beautiful book.
Yeah. And also know that when we talk about books, right, for those who aren't, speedy book readers like myself or prefer to listen, most of these books that we have here are also audiobooks. So look into that as well. Look into that as well. We'll definitely share some tips regarding that. And I've reached my final question. What is one question that you wished I asked you? And how would you have answered that question?
There's a question that I don't wish for, but that I'm always sort of want to be ready for, that I
Mm-hmm.
expect. And that is the question, why would you be qualified to do this work and to step into this space? Huh?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that question being asked because I get that, trust and checking people out is of value, has its value. I have figured out why. I'm happy to share why, and I'm happy to get, probing questions to really dig into that. You're very welcome to ask further and check whether I'm whether you think I'm qualified. What I know is I'm on a learning curve, as everyone is. I do the work, I do the reading. I'm always learning. I'm a good coach. I'm not a DEI consultant. I'm not a DEI trainer. I'm a coach. That is my skill. That is what I bring in. And I've been working on inclusion for most of my life, even though it was under different headers. So it always had a different name. And then summer 2020, I thought, wait a minute, what's going on? This has always been about inclusion. Out of all the letters of DEI, J, B, yeah, inclusion is the one that galvanizes me most. And a question that I could wish for, because that was your original
Mm-hmm.
question, is, hey, Marjolijn, what's my favorite thing about your work? Vivian's work. And the answer is, and that's one that really inspired me, is how you, Vivian, how you incorporate and inhabit a growth mindset. It's a part of many of your talks and speeches. It's part of how you do your work and what you bring into companies, into coaching. Your son is a great inspiration on growth mindset. So that's one of my favorite things about how you do your work.
You surprised me. I wasn't expecting expecting that. But you see, we always we want to advocate and we want to role model, right? But no, we are human. We might slip up. So please forgive us when we do, but this is all about applying the growth mindset and learning from that and see everything as a lesson that can be learned from and allow people to grow and elevate. And Marjolijn has shared that. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that, but I really love learning new things about you, things that I didn't know. There's a lot that I do know, but there is also a lot that I don't know. And this will hopefully give you, as a listener, as somebody who watches this conversation, give you more of a perspective of why it is important to activate curiosity and activate active listening when you are trying to inspire, trying to motivate, trying to activate people to start their DEI journey or to, level up the DEI journey.
Mhm.
It's been amazing to get to know you further. And for any person who has questions, comments, whatever, you can connect to Marjolijn or you can comment this podcast or you can write to us, right, to the Global Inclusion in Practice podcast whatever way you want to communicate, I'm only saying we welcome you and connect with us and elevate us and share this conversation with other like-minded people as well.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, Marjolijn?
Yeah, and we'd love to hear your story as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vivian. Thanks for the great questions.
You're welcome.
And surprising. Yeah, thanks for asking.
Thank you for listening. You're warmly invited to pause for a moment and think about what stood out to you from this conversation. Please share this episode with others to inspire them too. Make sure to subscribe to our Substack channel. We'll be back soon with more episodes. Be well, take care, and stay connected.